Nicky Spinks, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to RunUltra, and congratulations on your Lakeland 24-hour record.
Thank you.
I know it was last month now, wasn't it? It was in August.
Yes, 14th of August, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Time is tripping on. So 10 years on from when you first got it, which how did it go? I mean, I've read your blog. I've got several questions about it, mainly being the amount of food you ate. But just quickly recap for anyone that doesn't know what you did, sort of how it went for you, and how it went to plan.
Yeah, so I held the ladies' Lake District 24-hour record until last August, when Carol Morgan broke it. It's like an extended Bob Graham, and now it was I did hold it with 64 peaks and I'd completed in 23 hours and 15 minutes. And it had always annoyed me that I didn't put this extra peak in called Grisdale Pike, because I think with 45 minutes I should have had enough time. So when Carol did that, put the extra peak in, but she managed to finish in 23:57, I just thought, I've just got to go and have another go. Even though I'm 10 years older and now 54, I've got a lot more experience, I thought, than what I had then.
Yeah.
And I think also my training, you know, I manage my training so that I try and, well, change it if it's not working. If I'm not improving, I change it. Right. So yeah, that gave me the sort of the drive to go and have another go after 10 years of it sort of slightly annoying me that I didn't put this peak in the first place. And then I attempted in May, and the weather nothing was really perfect, because obviously we'd been in lockdown till April, and so I'd only sort of had a few weeks to really get on the route, not really proper training, nothing really. But yeah, and the weather forecast was pretty dodgy, but then it often is, and it often turns out better. So, but when I set off, we got snow right across leg one, which was totally unexpected, and that I was just too tired and my legs got too cold, and something was happening with my ankle, but it was really cold, so I couldn't actually tell what was happening with it because it was, well, numb. So yeah, in the end I pulled out across leg 4 and then I wasn't going to do it, but it didn't take long before I decided, right, you know, I know I was on the schedule for some of it. It was very wet underground. I know what I need to improve on, and I need better weather. So I planned straight away to go in August.
It was a good recce, really, wasn't it? Into where you can tweak if necessary.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons I carried on for so long, because even into leg 2, I was thinking this is looking very unlikely that I'm going to break the record, because I was now 15-20 minutes down, and you can't make that sort of time up on a record. No. You know, it's already fast paced, you can't go faster than fast. Yeah, so but I was, again, I wanted to do something, and I recovered so quickly from that I thought, you know, I was quite fit at the time, but probably not fast enough. Right. Yeah, and the weather was, the rocks were slippery, it was quite claggy, which just slows everybody down. And I needed to recce some more as well. You know, I wasn't finding the best lines. So yeah, so I then spent all summer training and recceing. And yeah, I felt really ready. I didn't think I could have done any more in August when I attempted. The weather again was fairly dodgy. The forecasts wouldn't sort of agree. Well, no, they did agree. They agreed that it was going to rain at some point, but they didn't agree when it was going to rain or how much it was going to rain. And so although I had recce to put 2 extra peaks in, I actually ditched them on Friday night before I started, because I just thought, it's not the perfect forecast for doing extra peaks. It was and that was a really good decision. Yeah, not on bow scale. it was a good decision because, again, on leg 1, we were in thick clag on skidoo and rain. Yeah, not too much rain. We didn't have our waterproofs on, but it was so claggy that we could hardly see. It's amazing how often you can be on a peak. You're going along skidoo, and I know the bumps before you get to the top, and yet in thick clag when you can hardly see the side of the path that's 2 foot away from you, you just completely, it just disorientates you, especially as you're getting blown around as well. So, you're trying to sort of keep upright and things, and right there and then I was like, oh crikey, am I doing the right thing? But as we dropped off skidoo down to Sale How, it cleared, and the other peaks were clear, so that, and I could look across onto Helvellyn and they were clear. So and we did it on the schedule as well, so I was really chuffed, even though it was really claggy. And so after leg 1 we went on leg 2. It's very runnable across Helvellyn, and this was not my strength. I'm not a road runner. I don't really, so had done a lot of tempo running
yes, you
throughout
said
the
that.
summer.
And did that help?
Yes, definitely. I just found I could run faster for longer, and at that slightly uncomfortable sort of pace that usually, I think during lockdown without racing, we've got out of the habit of running uncomfortably. There hasn't really been much point because everything that we've been training for has been knocked on the head. So I think although I was doing a lot of running in lockdown just locally, I wasn't sort of doing any real pushing of myself. So and I think the tempo runs, of course, rather than choosing racing again to do it, I did tempo runs, which I could do myself and monitor myself more than if you're in a race where you're competitive. So
yes, you're not paying attention to your watch or anything, are you?
That's it. My own breathing and my pace, because I'm trying to sort of beat people.
Do you do that over flat ground, or are you still doing that in the hills?
I chose slightly undulating and uphill ground because a lot of the leg 2 is slightly uphill, so it's that sort of annoying gradient where you can't really walk because you think you should be running, but actually running is quite tiring because it's slightly uphill for quite a long stretches. So when I was doing the tempo, there was a 12-minute split to not Watson's dog, the one from Watson's to the next one, start whichever, and I always pictured that one and thought, because my tempo distance was about 12 minutes, so I always thought that's the one I'm on.
Okay, cool. So well, it obviously worked. You took, was it 12 minutes off the time?
So I went on from leg 2, stayed on schedule, and leg 3, the Langdales are fairly sort of tussocky sort of grass, bit hard. I had to get going again with my running, and I just went through the Langdales, and then I'm always quite happy when I get onto Bowfell, onto the rocky stuff, because I'd had a few massages on my ankle and sorted that out. It had locked up on me in May, which was why I couldn't descend at all. I'd got that seen to, so I was quite happy on the rocks, which is I like the rocks. I can skip quite happily along the rocks when legs are working fine. And then on to leg 4, and I think I was sick once across leg 3, and it started the sort of difficulty with eating, and I started going off the food, which was annoying, except the rice puddings, but I'd only put so many rice puddings on every leg for the supporters to carry. So
and I think you dashed through the last checkpoint before was it Amanda had arrived, so everyone scattered in panic because they didn't have anything for you.
No, so I did leg 4, and I threw up at Honister quite a lot, and I said to Amanda, can you find me something different to eat, without being very specific. And then I shot off, and she'd only really got an hour and a half before the next the next road crossing at Newlands. So she went off, but then got stuck in traffic. So she didn't get there by the time I got there.
Right.
But she'd rung the support and they were trying to like pass food over and everything. But I was just now focused on 3.5 hours. I've got to finish this thing. I don't want to stop because I don't know. It's just one of those things in hindsight. You think 2 minutes might have helped. It would have helped the supporters pass over the extra rice puddings or whatever.
Yes.
So when I went on to leg 5.
Did you know she was only 2 minutes away though? I mean, that's
no, I didn't know.
No,
there was no signal there, so
you didn't know how far away she
knew
was.
anything.
No,
Yeah.
not worth it then, is it? But you did it anyway.
I know. Yeah. Well, I think when you haven't got any option, you just think, right, okay, that's what I've got. I've got 4 of my own gels, some hula hoops, not sure what else. And when I'm done with those, I threw up another gel that somebody gave me that I didn't agree with. And then I thought, right, I've just got to manage on what I've got. So that's why it's always a good thing to eat early on, because it does sort of stay with you and give you the energy to do 3.5 hours at the end on very little.
Yes. So talk me through, because reading your review of it does seem that you ate an enormous amount. I mean, literally like pots of rice pudding and what have you. It seemed like almost at every peak. Is that sort of how? Is that what you need? Is that that's what works for you?
Yeah, I think you need to eat every half an hour, and maybe I sort of think of a little thing, which is maybe a bag of sweets, and a big thing. It's a little thing and a big thing every hour. So
like a sandwich, and then a bag of sweets, or something substantial.
Yeah, every hour. And I was doing really well early on. I was getting quite a lot down.
Wow, because that's a lot for one's stomach to sort of take in whilst running at record-breaking pace.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier if you didn't have to fuel yourself.
Yes,
for me anyway.
Just an intravenous drip. Oh well, that's. I mean, do you think sort of being slightly older, you need more food? I mean, is that something you found, or is that just how you've always been?
You probably, I don't know. Probably you do need more food because you haven't got the sort of, like if I was 24, I'd have more just young strength.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I remember even when I was doing it 10 years ago that I still ate quite a bit, and it was the heat that got to me that time.
Right.
And I still started to throw up that time. So
no, well.
And I am one of those. I mean, somebody else who doesn't really know me read my blog and said, I can't believe you just threw up, and then kept going. And actually, when I threw up now, I just look at what I've thrown up, because often what you throw up is what's made you throw up.
It's what's not.
And I ate some beans just before the fruit salad, and the beans hadn't come up and the fruit salad had. So then I went off fruit salads, because
was it fruit salad as in fruit, or was it fruit salad as in the sweets?
The little pots.
Oh, it was. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like, I did think maybe it was the little sweets as well, because we eat those sweets, don't we? But they'd be too chewy.
Yeah, no, jelly babies are the ones that I was eating. I fill little money bags up with them, so that you've just got like 6 to 8 in a little money bag.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good tip. Money bags.
Yeah, because you can see straight through them, and when I'm trying to tell the support quickly what I want, they can see what I'm.
Your route choice. Again, I'm not very au fait with the Lakeland 24, and for anyone that's watching that doesn't know, you can choose any route, presumably, but it's been sort of pared down now to starting in, is it Braithwaite?
Yeah, for the Lakes 24-hour, you have to do the peaks that the person before you did, and either add peaks or do it faster than they did.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
interesting.
So if I could have added peaks and been 23:58 minutes, and I would have beaten the record. Or like I chose to do was do exactly the same as Carol. And you don't have to start at the Moot Hall with the Lakes 24-hour record. So I started in a different place called Stair, and Carol actually moved the start. Well, I could have started there again if I wanted to, but it made more sense to start where she started.
Okay.
Which is where the men now, men have started there for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said that you were considering adding in knot and bow scale. I mean, to have added 2 more peaks, would you have needed to have been faster in order to have got those, or could you have got those in within the sort of 15 minutes you had left?
No, I worked out I needed an extra hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's quite significant.
So that meant I needed to be 15 minutes quicker than I was in 2011, because I already had, I had 45 minutes, but Carol had added in a peak, but she'd moved the start, which actually made the route a little bit more logical.
Okay.
So it was hard to tell how much faster I would have to be. But I know, I had 45 minutes spare then. So yeah, I think I needed to be another half an hour quicker than I actually was on the day.
Right.
And a lot of that time I lost on that last leg. Yeah.
That's quite a lot of time. Again, going back to what you were saying with your first attempt, that's a lot of.
Yeah. You see, because when you start to be sick, you're actually wasting time being sick. So halfway through that last leg, I just thought I am actually wasting time feeling sick, because you slow down, and then trying to eat something. So you try to eat something, and then feeling sick again, and then having to throw it up. That's all time wasting. So you might as well just carry on losing energy, but not wasting time. Well, not using up time. Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah.
And just quickly going on, I think you're going off to do the Tour des Gens next week.
I really hope so, but I had to do a lateral flow test this morning, and it came back slightly positive.
Slightly positive.
Well, where you get, it says a faint line.
Okay.
So this morning I went for a PCR test.
Right.
I'm sat here, I'm still packing, but who knows?
Oh, when are you going?
Thursday.
Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, fingers crossed. Because that's such a bucket list race, isn't it? That'd be amazing. Do you know the course at all? Do you know it?
I did it in 2019 and entered in 2020, and this is an entry. Well, everything's sort of deferred over, but now it's all paid for and everything.
Yes. Yes. Well, good luck. I really hope you get there, and I feel like I'm leaving it slightly on a cliffhanger. Will you let us know? So that when we publish this, we can let everyone know whether or not you're out there.
But I was going to say at the beginning, I didn't. I don't. And I'm not in a great mood, but it's one of those things. I certainly wouldn't. We had a farm sale. We had our farm sale on Saturday, and maybe that's got to be where I caught it. I have no symptoms whatsoever.
No.
And it was all outside, but apart from that, I've just not been with anybody for the last week.
It seems, yeah, it seems unlikely, doesn't it? Well, fingers crossed. It was
fingers
just
crossed.
a dodgy test. And thank you very much for talking to us.
That's fine. Thank you.